G'day, g'day, how you going? What do you know? Don't strike a light. G'day, g'day, and how you going? Just say g'day, 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 and you'll be right.
Now we come to the portion of the service before we do our Bible study that we address some end times news and trends that are happening as it relates to Bible prophecy. As most people are aware, that and it's a major news item, that Trump is in the Middle East, visiting Saudi Arabia for these next couple days, and then on Monday he's over in Israel for a couple days, and then he's over to Rome, and then Belgium to meet with the European Union leaders, and then he goes down to Sicily for the G7 summit. So it's a lot of stuff happening in the next several days. A lot of interesting things will come out of this particular trip. So it's just something worth noting. And again, what's at stake within the Middle East and the whole peace process. Speaking of the peace deal and this process, what's taken place, on Thursday, a report out of Times of Israel where Trump told Abbas that he's able to reach a deal within the next year, says the Palestinian minister. So the PA foreign minister was also speaking in this little conference that's taken place in Oman. And that's a fun name of a country, Oman. But Abbas was a part of this regional tour for this Arab Islamic American Summit that's going to take place today. It started on Friday through Sunday in Saudi Arabia. And he has an interesting Arabic name, Abu Mazan, which is Abbas's Arabic name. Which, according to this article, came up. But he stresses the seriousness of settling the Palestinian issue after they met in Washington earlier this month. The U.S. president assured him that he'll be able to find a settlement within the year. So we can see the agendas being pushed, and it's getting closer and closer to reaching this peace deal, which every president has tried but has been unsuccessful. Also, speaking of this deal, Egypt's president, he says that Trump serves as this critical link in solving the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. After speaking at a meeting, and this came out of the Jerusalem Post, with chief editors of the three Egyptian newspapers, the president of Egypt stressed and expressed his confidence in Trump, saying that I believe him and his abilities to solve conflict, and Trump's a great man who will not be satisfied with anything but success, and we have confidence in his ability and his promises. Again, the Arabs and the Palestinians are ready for peace, according to the president said in his address of Egypt. And he says, you have an opportunity to reach peace. There's an opportunity for all of us to live together and achieve a better future for people without hatred. Well, that can only happen if you stop, again, only through Jesus Christ, first and foremost. But if you stop brainwashing and stop, promoting the hatred and the annihilation of Israel and the Jewish people, then you're going to have a lot more peace in the Middle East instead of continuing launching rockets over there. Egypt and Israel, by the way, had forged a historic peace process back in 1979, and we do see how Egypt and Cairo's contended for a two-state solution with many other countries as well. And so, again, they're all going to be attending this particular Arab Islamic American Summit over this weekend. On another Middle East issue, and again, just keeping a pulse on what's happening in Syria, the latest incident that happened, and this came out of Yahoo, how U.S. aircraft strikes pro-Assad forces in Syria. There was this military convoy that appeared to be moving onto a U.S. coalition training base in southern eastern Syria, according to U.S. officials. Tanks and several other vehicles were destroyed in the airstrike after the convoy ignored repeated warnings. So just more escalation, more situations happening. And again, keeping a pulse of what's going to happen in Syria. That will be the entryway for the Ezekiel 38 war coming in from Russia into Israel, and also the Psalm 83 war, which is both of them are kind of on the verge in the horizon in the near distant future. Things are just getting closer and closer to seeing fulfillment there. And of course the Isaiah 17 with the destruction of Damascus. So that's getting closer and closer every single week. Also, on another situation that happened, again, Iran elected their president again for a second term. He was the one that was all part of that negotiation with the Iran nuclear deal. So they're just continue to build their weaponry as well. So again, just more of the same rhetoric that's going to take place in Iran. And then lastly, on a moral and on a social issue, because we're seeing this taking place and this agenda just being pushed so much harder and harder. The LGBT curriculum program, gender-neutral uniforms adopted by 120 UK schools. So what is going to take place there is going to take place here in Australia and many other countries around the world. And the U.S., the uniform's not an issue because we don't wear uniforms in our schools there, except for some of the preppy schools where, it's very expensive to send kids there. But we don't have a uniform issue, but there's a curriculum that's being implemented. And also, from what we understand, what took place in San Francisco, they've changed a lot of the curriculum to adopt and to push this homosexual agenda. Anyways, but part of the changing of the uniform, so it's gender neutral, there's a study curriculum that goes along with this as well. It's a curriculum that's meant to expose the students to the promotion of gay and transgender lifestyles as part of their daily education and is spread across all parts of the curriculum. And Ellie Barnes, who founded Education Celebrate, which is part of this whole initiative, which promises to turn schools into safe places for LGBT youth, and said about 120 schools have signed up for it. The primary schools, getting them young, is what their goal is, and they've adopted and bought into this program much faster and more than the secondary schools. This particular organizations working with a 12-month program with schools that signed up what is called the Best Practices Program, and it's helping institutions develop a 5-point plan. The program includes reviewing policies, developing LGBT inclusive curriculum, lesson plans, assemblies, book collections, and increasing visibility in the school environment. Even in this school that we meet at, it's filtered all throughout the campus as well. Very similar ideas here. And the key aspect from this article talks about how the program's helping schools establish LGBT inclusive curriculum through those collections, assemblies, lessons. The goal is to make the children aware of the everyday existence of LGBT people. Even in the geography lessons, on stage 1, where it's between ages of 5 to 7, and this particular article mentions how they read through a book called And Tango Makes Three, which is a book that concerns 2 male penguins at a zoo who adopt a baby penguin. So they're trying to indoctrinate them at a very young age. The article goes on to say that the rainbow touches throughout the whole school. And according to the report that said one of Britain's top schools is also not only planning to adopt this, but they're also changing the bathrooms to have the unisex, while teachers are also specifically needing to drop terms like boys and girls from their vocabulary. It almost sounds like a school system that would take place in Sodom and Gomorrah. The madness and the confusion is getting that much more pushing down through the school systems and within countries around the world. And then I had this article that was sent to me here in Australia, a friend up in Queensland, and he says, under the new policy for Australian Medical Association, want to anti-discrimination laws maintain and enforce and ensure businesses cannot withhold goods and services from clients due to their gender or sexual orientation. And that article came out of the Sydney Morning Herald. And their media release on their own website, which is the ama.com.au, is plastered with rainbow colors. Now, again, and their push was for, on that particular article on that website, was this marriage equality, which is a debate that's getting out of hand. And again, the biblical viewpoint of marriage between a man and a woman has been the universal understanding of marriage for humanization, civilization, for all history throughout the world. History argues against gay marriage. Modern secular psychology recognizes men and women are psychologically and emotionally designed to be compatible with one another. And in regards to the family, psychologists contend that the union between a man and a woman, which also has both spouses, serve as a good gender role models, is the best environment which to raise well-adjusted children. Psychology argues against gay marriage. Nature and physicality, clearly, men and women are designed to fit together. And with the natural purpose of sexual intercourse for procreation, clearly only sexual relationships between man and woman can fulfill this purpose. Nature goes against gay marriage. And the list goes on and on. The facts are behind it. And if doctors actually lay out the facts, they get fired from their jobs to talk about the medical problems of this type of lifestyle. Statistically, speaking of the same-sex marriage, 60% of females are for this or getting married, and only 30% plus or so are males. So, which is interesting to see the dynamic there. But unfortunately, again, the debate continues, and again, it doesn't have to be if you just go based on facts from history, psychology, and of course, number one, the Bible. But if you disagree with that lifestyle, you're hatred, you're intolerant, but yet they're the ones being intolerant and hateful if you don't agree with them. You're a homophobe, and all the other name-calling continues. But we need to be praying for our children in the schools, and we need to be praying and sharing the gospel, living it out, our faith with grace, truth, and love. Amen? And that concludes today's update.